The perfume industry produces billions of units each year and exceeds $40 billion in revenue. To meet this enormous demand, giant harvesters collect tons of lavender flowers. But how is lavender oil transformed into a high-quality fragrance? We visited the world capital of perfume to find out how the most expensive perfumes are made. The small town of Grasse in southern France is known as the world capital of perfume. They have been dedicated to this industry since 1724. When major perfume brands like Chanel want to launch a new fragrance, they come here. It's a true art form. Choosing the right ingredients for a sublime new scent is like trying to mix the perfect cocktail. The basic ingredients of perfume are essential oils derived from aromatic plants, fruits, and flowers, which are diluted with alcohol. These substances are incredibly potent, much like fine wines, which are tasted and blended continuously. Perfumes also evolve and mature over time. In the old days, perfumes contained substances like beaver glands and whale secretions. Nowadays, it's all a bit more refined. Lavender essence is one of the main ingredients in perfumes. Over the centuries, this incredible place in Provence has produced half of the world's lavender. The leaves and striking blue petals of this aromatic shrub are used to make lavender essential oil, an ingredient in many health and beauty products. The plants cover hill after hill, forming an undulating purple sea of fragrance. It may smell good, but harvesting it is no bed of roses. Weeds like to grow at the base of lavender plants, drawing water and important nutrients from the soil. So, from May to September, removing those weeds is a vital daily ritual. The weeding machine lifts the lavender stalks and shoots hot steam at the weeds around the base. To determine the right time for harvesting, the producer looks at the number of flowers and their color, which should be purplish blue, just about to turn grayish brown. The producer also crushes a few petals to see how much oil comes out. Lavender starts to bloom in its second year. Harvest time on this farm is at the peak of the first bloom. There's a second bloom later, but it's not significant enough to justify another harvest. The problem is that the harvest only takes place over a 6-week period, and the flowers must be cut early in the morning when they are most open and full of oil. The best way to do this is with a giant harvester. First, it straightens the lavender bushes, then oscillating blades cleanly cut the 6-inch stalks. The harvester is specially designed to cut lavender like a stylist cutting hair. It lifts the stalk straight up and then cuts it close to the base. The cut stalks fall onto a conveyor belt that moves them to a tray, and then an auger sends them to the accompanying truck. This heap of stalks smells wonderful, but to turn it into an essence that can be bottled requires skill. When the trailer is full, it takes its load to the distillery. Just like making homemade alcohol from grain, pure lavender must be distilled to extract the best. The operators start the distillation process by placing 11,000 pounds of stalks in a huge steel pot. The workers load the lavender into a still, a large stainless steel container normally used to produce spirits. They compact as much lavender as possible into the still to avoid air pockets. The less air, the higher the oil yield. Once the still is full to its compacted capacity, they close it tightly and turn on an oil boiler. The boiler heats the water to turn it into steam, which is then injected into the bottom of the still at very low pressure. Over the course of about 15 minutes, the steam slowly rises to the top of the still, heating the lavender along the way. They continue with the steam for about another half hour. This bursts the glands located mainly in the petals, releasing the oil. The lavender sweats and releases oil that mixes with the water vapor. The steam is collected in a large condensation pipe. Then, the aromatic steam is cooled in another tank and turns back into liquid. To collect that extracted oil, they introduce cold water into an aluminum tube running through the still. When the hot steam hits that cold tube, it condenses back into water. Lavender oil is lighter than water, so it rises to the surface and is extracted little by little. It takes tons of fresh flowers to produce just 110 pounds of oil. Lavender oil starts its life like homemade liquor, but to make the best perfume, it has to mature like a fine malt whiskey. So, it will stay in these barrels for several months until it's ready. When it's sufficiently aged to become perfume, the lavender oil will join other aromatic oils in the lab for the blending process. There are infinite possible combinations. Noses distinguish the sublime from the stinky. Humans have about 1.5 square inches of smell receptors in the nose. A single perfume can contain up to 50 ingredients. The scent of concentrated oils alone wouldn't reach even the nearest nose. That's why, to create a perfume that's the perfect attraction tool, strong alcohol is added. The alcohol evaporates at room temperature and spreads the scent around the room. That's why the fragrance should be applied to pulse points like the wrist and neck. In these places, where blood vessels are closer to the skin, more heat is released, acting as mini fragrance pumps. Amid all this high-tech machinery, the perfumer's nose is the most important tool in formulating a new essence, and their expertise is crucial in knowing what makes a good or bad fragrance. Perfumers are experts in creating scents. These olfactory artists spend years training their sense of smell and can identify hundreds or even thousands of different smells. Samples are applied to testers, and the recipe is adjusted as needed. When the noses are satisfied, the recipe is sent to another perfume distillery for mass production. The distillery facilities cover an area of over 215,000 square feet. Production lines, filling lines, and maceration tanks with a capacity of 92,000 gallons make up the factory. Before developing a perfume, the purity of the raw materials must be checked to ensure they are not adulterated or contaminated. Raw materials can cost up to $20,000 per kilo. Therefore, the manufacturer must ensure they are authentic and of the highest quality. Materials are checked using gas chromatography. The substance is vaporized in the machine and then passed through a liquid. The different components of the substance pass through the liquid at different speeds. The machine detects them as they pass and prints the results. The perfumer can see which components are present in the oil with an accuracy of 1 nanogram. They weigh different amounts of essential oils using scales with a precision of 1 milligram. The first step is called composition. This involves precisely weighing all the components to create a concentrate. The essential oils and fixatives, which help maintain the stability and durability of the perfume on the skin, are poured in. The concentrate is diluted with alcohol, left to mature, and once the aromas have penetrated the liquid, it is cooled and filtered to obtain a pure, clear, intense perfume. A sample of the perfume is taken to the lab to test its density. The final product is measured with a specific volume in milliliters. During the formulation process, everything is weighed in grams, as the manufacturer needs to know what weight of perfume will provide the required volume. The product is measured and weighed with lab scales. The density of the perfume can be calculated from the weight to the volume of water, ensuring precision when filling the bottles. Glass bottles are made from silica sand, soda ash, and limestone. The materials are mixed and heated to high temperatures in furnaces, melting to form a viscous mass. The hot glass mass is poured into molds specifically designed to create the desired shape of the bottle. Once molded, the glass is slowly cooled so it doesn't break due to sudden temperature changes. Some bottles may undergo an additional tempering process, involving controlled cooling to increase their strength. The cooled bottles undergo cutting and polishing processes to remove burrs and sharp edges. They are decorated according to the perfume manufacturer's design and sent for filling with the fragrance. The resulting women's fragrance contains an incredible 2/3 alcohol, but the men's blend is even stronger. Men's fragrance can have up to 95% alcohol. Afterward, the bottle is filled with the perfume and sealed with a sprayer. Each bottle is batch-coded to provide traceability in case of future issues. They are packaged, labeled, and wrapped. At this factory, everything is done by hand. The perfumes they create are specialized products for high-end markets. If you enjoyed the video, you can watch similar videos clicking them on screen. Also, Subscribe to this channel by enabling notifications to keep learning.